All right, good morning, boys and girls. Today we are on page 387. If you are in your actual math book, remember I would like for you to please write at the top, Thursday. You can write THURS period, that's the abbreviation for Thursday, or you can continue to spell it out. Don't forget to write your name at the top. It's good practice. Are you writing your first and your last name? Today we're going to read picture graphs. So before we had things that we were counting separately. Now we are going to have the picture graph, and the picture graph is going to show exactly how much of something there is. So our first question says, Abby goes to the beach. She records the animals that she sees. How many more birds than fish does Abby see? So, how many more? How many more is actually what we're going to be looking for to do the rest of the math with it later. So that's important. You can circle that on your page. So this says the animals that Abby sees. So the first way that we have our chart, our tally chart, it shows us just what we learned the other day. So every time that there's a bird, she counted them. There were 8 birds. There were 2 crabs. Don't think that this is an 11. 11 would be wrong. This is 2 tally marks. And fish has 5. Now, the way that we're going to change this from a tally chart into a picture graph is that we will say the first animal here. These don't count. They're just telling us the name of what's going to happen in this graph. Then we're going to mark them one picture for each one. It says, Abby puts pictures in a picture graph to show how many, and this is the important part. There is one picture for each tally mark. One picture. When we start to get harder work, it might be different, okay? So this is important for today. There's one picture for each tally mark. So I can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is what we have. 1, 2, which is what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is what we have here. Now, if I'm just looking at the graph, the picture graph, I can already tell which one has the most because this comes out way farther than the fish, which come out way farther than the crabs. If I were making a line, I could tell this one is longer than both of these, okay? Now we have to finish our question. So it says, how many more birds than fish does Abby see? So it wants to know birds than fish. Now what we can do is we can say 8, take away 5, because how many more means subtract. 8 take away 5 equals 3. Or I can also look. If I'm wondering how many more, I can see that there's a bird and a fish that are the same. A bird and the fish, a bird and the fish, a bird and the fish, a bird and the fish. But here I have more birds than I have fish. So I can look at this part and I can say, okay, these are the last 2 that line up. How many more are there here that are just by themselves? 1, 2, 3. Number 1 at the bottom says, use the picture graph above to answer the question. How many animals does Abby see in all? I want you to circle in all. In all means add everything together. So this time I'll take my numbers and I'm going to say 8 plus 2 plus 5. 8 plus 2 plus 5. I know that 8 plus 2 is 10. So I'm thinking in my head, oh, this is 10. Plus 5 more. 10 plus 5 is 15. So that's how we got 15. Go ahead and trace that now. And we're going to turn to the next page. And here we go. Read the picture graph, then answer the question. So here's our tally chart, okay? So it tells us what type of something we're doing here. Here's our title. These are Eli's books. So Eli is reading some different books, and I want to change that from black so that you can see it better. Let's try red. Eli's books. So he's got animal books, comic books, and picture books. There are 3, 5, and 4, because remember I can just go straight across. Picture books, this tells me in the tallies, this tells me in numerals. So now I'm going to change that into a picture graph. So we have animal, the same as here, 1, 2, 3, comic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and picture, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the same as these, but this is how the picture graph looks, okay? How many more, there's that magic phrase, how many more comic books than picture books does Eli have? So I'm wanting to know comic books and picture books. Do I need to know anything about animals? No. So really, I can mark that out if I don't want to think about it. If it's confusing to me, I can sort of get rid of it with my pencil. So now I want to know how many more comic books than picture books. So I'm looking. Remember, I told you you could subtract, but also you can see these each have the partner. So there must be more comic books by how many? Just 1. Only 1 more comic book than pictures. Let's look at number 3. Number 3, which color is chosen least? How do you know? So least, we have to remember that least means it's the smallest amount of something. Which one of these colors is shown least? Orange, red, or yellow? It's yellow. So we're going to write yellow in this tiny box. Remember to capitalize it because it's at the beginning of the sentence. Yellow is chosen the least. I know because, so we want to fill this out. I know because the graph shows 1 picture for yellow. We have only 1 picture here. The others had more. Remember that this part is bonus. If you think you can do it, then I want you to try, okay? And we're going to go to the second video at this time. So skip the homework for this, and you're going to turn the page to 391.